Today we have fitness trends. Reel them off, Taylor. Let's go.
Like the ab belts.
Six-pack shortcuts.
Oh, yeah.
They prey on vulnerable people. Like,
Yeah,
you get people out there
100%.
that really want to lose body fat.
That was one of the next kind of ones that came around, was it massive pyramid schemes.
You can get in shape and make money. You put scientists say
Yeah.
ahead of that sentence.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
go, "Oh, of course."
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong business, mate. I need to start flogging some of this shit. We're in the influencer sort of era now, aren't we?
I'm Ryan Stevens.
Dr. Taylor Waters.
I'm Ben Oliver.
Welcome to the Superhuman Show, yeah?
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Superhuman Show with your hosts, Ben Oliver, Ryan Stevens, and the doc.
It always puts a smile on his face.
Yeah,
The doc.
doctor, PhD. Completed it, mate.
Completed school.
But yes, so today we have fitness trends.
Yeah.
So some of the most, I guess, funniest,
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
the good, the bad, the ugly fitness trends, in the last few decades. I
They've
guess.
come and they've gone for very good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll probably come back.
Yeah,
But,
they always do.
Yeah,
Hopefully they don't.
yeah. So reel them off, Taylor. Let's go.
I guess the first, when you said they come, they go, and then they come back, the ab belts was the first one that came to mind. Because that one did actually come back. That was more like a 2000, more like a,
Was that
like
the
a sort
things
of
they wrap around
80s
their
thing?
torso,
Yeah,
they
where
crush
used to
their
see people
organs
in
in?
the 80s and you used to
Yeah.
keep it. But then they came back like, in the last few years. People started wearing
because they
them.
were in the 1800s. They were called corsets, and then men started wearing them
Fitness corsets.
in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to tighten your waist. It's like you just crush your organs together.
Yeah, they are. They are naff. They're naff. Have you ever worn one?
No,
You wouldn't go to fit.
have you ever worn one?
I'd love to see him with this absolute barrel of a bloke with his tiny little corset on.
Just walking around like that. Oh God.
Jesus.
No.
Like something similar to, what was it, like 8-minute abs or some nonsense like that?
Well, it was just basically all of like these little mini workouts focused around getting a six-pack. Do you remember what was his name? Mike Chang on YouTube, six-pack shortcuts.
Oh, yeah.
He used to be everywhere, and then he just vanished out of nowhere. This was probably like early 2000s, I think. But it was like these high rep, short ab circuits. That's like, oh yeah, this is really going to make those abs pop. And it's like, if you've got a barrel down there, like there is no 8-minute workout that's going to reveal anything.
If you've got a gut, there's no corset that's going to sort that problem out. The another one of the like equipment things is the vibration plates.
You stand on
Oh,
it.
you stand on it. Yeah.
And again, they never last. They came in and like, again, in people's heads, it sounded like a great idea. Like, oh my God, I can just stand on this plate. And it's just going to like wriggle the fat off me.
Yeah.
It's like, mate,
I tell you
that
what,
makes no sense whatsoever.
it's almost
mad.
like all these things, they prey on vulnerable people. Like you get
yeah,
people out there that
100%.
really want to lose body fat and like they don't want to do the stuff that works because it's hard. And then some guy comes along, oh, chuck a corset on and stand on this vibration plate. They're like, oh my God, like that's so easy. I'm gonna do that, So it's like you're literally preying on vulnerable people.
Yeah. I don't like. I think when I was younger, I probably had a bit of a not an attitude, but like because I was overweight as a kid and I did it.
You had a fat attitude.
Yeah, I had a fat attitude.
Cute fat.
but I because I dieted and trained and stuff, it was kind of like, again, when you're younger, you're maybe not as empathetic towards people because you just don't have the life experience or just at that point. And so I would always look at it as like, people are lazy, they just don't want to do the hard work. Like they're idiots, for falling for these stupid kind of things. And now like you said, I can completely empathize, like truly, with people that will pay for these things because they don't like how they look so much that they will do anything to get out of it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And so if someone is selling you the snake oil that's like, we can fix this in 4 weeks, it's not going to take you 2 years, you're going to jump at the chance.
It's an easy sell, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean that's what like semaglutide kind of like, that's why it got so popular in Hollywood and stuff, because it was a quick fix. And so I can completely understand why people would pay for it. It's what I don't like is the people selling it that know that it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And so it's I don't think it's the consumer's fault.
No.
We can obviously say, do your due diligence, do a bit of research and stuff, but like when you're in that much, like for lack of a better term, pain, you're going to ignore like all of those things because your brain is just telling you to get out of this pain. Yeah. And so you're going to convince yourself that it's true because you want it so bad. But it's the people that like, it'd be like us coming out with some like fat burner or something. Well, we know it's complete bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, the thing I always go back to when people are selling that stuff, it's like, you're either stupid and don't understand or you're a liar.
Yeah.
So it's like whichever one you want, you can. Each outcome is not great.
Yeah.
You might even be a bit of both. But it's like it's whenever you're flogging something like that. Again, it's you either don't understand this at all and you're just flogging it for the sake of it, or you do understand and you're lying to everyone.
Well, we know the people who were selling them, they ain't getting shredded standing on a vibrating plate.
Yeah,
so they clearly know what they're doing.
But this is where like I especially now with like social media when you have guys like Gary Brecker and stuff, talking about like. He's talking about physiology and he has no understanding of physiology, which is like, that's where it's dangerous because he's so good at selling that if you don't know anything about physiology, the way he says it, he's so convicted in it that you're like, well, it must be true. He's a doctor. Like he must be an expert. But like, even like I think that one of the clips I saw the other day was like, oh, after 20 minutes of exercise, your body is now burning muscle because it's ran out of energy from glycogen or something. It's
That's
like
so absurd.
We know for a fact like that we probably have about it depends on the intensity of the activity.
Depends on the size of the person.
It depends on the size of the person. And then we have about, upwards of 1,000 grams of carbohydrates stored. If you're a bigger person, it's like you ain't burning that in 20 minutes, regardless of what you do.
You can be sprinting for 20 minutes and that ain't happening.
Yeah, and so just from that, it's like, well, if you're wrong about that, then I can assume everything you're fucking talking about is complete bullshit.
You're right there.
But the problem is because they've got a bit of financial backing, they've been given a platform, and they've got the doctor in front of the name. People are like, well, he's a doctor. He must know what he's talking about. But again, it's like
that's why I got the PhD.
Yeah,
just believe me more.
Yeah, but you've got a PhD, but like you're not a general practitioner doctor.
No.
But again, if people don't understand how PhDs work, it's like, well, he's a doctor. He must
Doctor
know.
just adds that level of understanding. Isn't it?
So I think like that's like I think it's a bit more dangerous now when people are talking about this stuff because like. There's so much, people have realized how much money there is in these bullshit plans and stuff.
And it'll always be the same. And that's why a new one will come out and a new one will come out, because it's almost like it's a proven way to make money. Like, look at the vulnerable people and what can I give them that they're going to just jump at and just give me their money for.
Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? So like you have this person saying, I'm going to give you a tablet or whatever it is, and you're going to get the outcome that you want. That's such an easy sell.
Yeah.
There's zero effort involved. No time commitment, and often these things they aren't like massively expensive.
They're not breaking the bank.
And they're not invasive or anything.
Yeah, they're not invasive.
It's a tablet. It's convenient.
Whereas you have us coming along and saying, well, you're gonna have to train 3-4 days a week, get X amount of steps. Like there's a lot of time commitment, there's a lot of effort involved, and is a financial cost as well.
Like we'll make it as efficient as possible, but we're not going to be able to just make
exactly.
it
But in comparison to the just pop a red pill or whatever it is, it's like which one are they going to buy?
Yeah.
Well, that's where Herbalife and Juice Plus and that stuff came from. That was
one of the next kind of ones that came around. Just massive pyramid schemes when they.
If the thing is though, because it was like, because their selling point was like, you can get in shape and make money at the same time.
Yeah.
So now you've got these people like they've been on Herbalife for like 2 weeks. They've had some gut clearance. So they've done a couple of big poos and not refilled back up. And then they're trying to flog you as well. They're, mate, this is amazing. Like you don't understand it for yourself, but then they're so pushy with this because they've got some other sales guy behind them. Like you need to sell X amount.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to flog it to all their mates.
But then
you
realize
on it. And
no one actually. I don't think many people actually did Herbalife. It was like you would pay for the stuff from the bloke above you. Then you would get people to buy it off of you to then sell it. Yeah. No one was actually even fucking taking it. It was just like sat in your living room trying to pawn it off to.
Like they earn money by recruiting other people.
Yeah.
That's what they do, don't they?
Yeah.
And the way those things, don't get me wrong, I'm not completely opposed to a meal replacement shake. Like the general, how people would lose weight is like, I'll do it now with some people. I'll be like, right, let's just replace one meal with a protein shake and a banana. Yeah. And then you start to see they drop body fat because just by switching out that meal, which was a big breakfast bagel, and now they're going for a protein shake and fruit. So they reduce their intake by 300, 400 per day. and then they start to drop body fat as a result. So the concept of it, it's not terrible. It's just the way they're pushing it, and that they're not explaining that to people. They're just being like, oh no, this is the shake that's the reason you're dropping the body fat. This is the reason. So you need to keep buying this. Otherwise someone will go, because if I went, mate, just replace your breakfast with that bottle of water. Like, you'll be fine. Like that would solve it. But it's like, that's not how they make money.
There's a reason why they don't tell you why it's working, though, because they want to keep buying the product. You know?
Because as soon as you stop buying the product, they don't give a shit anymore. They're like, what a waste.
Because if, like, I mean, the way that it was basically sold was, I think it was, like 2 shakes a day, and then you have like a soup or something for dinner. And it was basically just a very low calorie diet, which there's a bunch of research on. Like, I think like very low calorie diets are defined as like
sub 6,
sub 6 or sub 8.
Yeah.
And so there is some value to those. You know, if I have clients that have, you know, like maybe like a gut flare up, if they have colitis or something like that, like the first thing we do is like stop eating. Like, let's just like clear it out, let everything calm down. We're going to fast for a couple of days. You know, maybe it's going to be some really fast, easy digesting protein, like a whey hydrolysate or something. And then we kind of slowly introduce food again. But I mean, one that's from like inflammatory purpose, you know, but again, it's not for necessarily weight loss. But also, you know, if someone wants to kickstart a fat loss phase, I'm not opposed to being like, let's just empty the tank for like 2-3 days. You know, they've just come back off a vacation. They're filled to the fucking brim.
Like,
you know,
that's coming from
crap.
America.
That's literally what I've done this week. Yes, I think my intake was like 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
I
You just
didn't
like
eat much yesterday.
empty the tank a little bit and then transition to a normal diet. But I think it was the way that it was marketed and sold without any kind of like breakdown of why it does what it does kind of thing. I think
a lot of these fad diets will keep the why away from the client, because if they know the why, then they'll understand that it's not that specific product that's doing it. It's that they're just in a massive calorie deficit. And that's literally goes for all fad diets. Like, this product is why you're losing weight. It's like, no, the product is putting me in a calorie deficit, which is why I'm losing weight. Because if they knew that, they'd just go, well, I'm just going to have a bottle of water instead. You know?
And again, I think what they did, especially Herbalife, is they started off with just like that shake, and it was like, I just take the shake and I do it. And then they started to expand their product base a little bit more, and they've made a load of other things now. Like, they make things like soups, and they make things like, so, and then they made like vitamin tablets and stuff. And it's, so like they started to realize, people started to figure out what they were. And then they've tried to be, oh, well, let's change angle now, because we're starting to sort of drop off the face of the earth. But it's like, you look at the training for a Herbalife rep is sales training. It's not nutrition coaching. But then they almost market themselves like a nutrition expert or like a fitness coach. But like, no, you're just a salesman. Like, you're just there to flog that product, regardless of, like, they're not asking any questions. They're just like, you want to lose weight, you need this. Like, whoa, hold on. Like we'll sit down with a client for half hour at the start just to get that base level of knowledge. Then we're going to build our understanding of that person over weeks of communication before we even start guiding things in that right direction. Whereas like Janet from down the local shops has figured it out straight away. Like, I don't need a conversation, mate. Just send me 40 quid and we're good to go.
I mean, you could make anything sound like, I guess like sciencey. Like, when I was doing like my masters, I think I was taking the piss, and I called it like the chicken licking diet. And it's like, you just take a raw chicken breast and you just fucking lick it. And then it's like, what that's going to do is it's going to create rapid fat loss through your anus, you know, and you're just going to drop all your fat out of your ass, you know, over the next few days. And then you top it up, lick another chicken breast, you know, your rapid weight loss. But like, I guarantee you could sell that.
Mate, but you put scientists say ahead of that sentence. Go, oh, yeah, of course. Of course it
we'll
is.
put your name next to it. Dr. Water said.
I'm in the wrong business, mate. I need to stop flogging some of this shit.
But
no, it is so true that you just basically, what these things generally do is they keep it very simple. So it looks easy, because that's what it is. You're looking to solve quite a complex problem. Like, people who are trying to drop body weight and keep it off. Like, when you look at the real evidence, it is quite complex and it is quite diverse in the range of challenges that people have. But they haven't got time. That's not making you cash. So it's like, let's just get something that sounds really simple, really easy, and then next, boom, boom, boom. The coins start coming in. It's funny you said about the science stuff, because one of the ones that came to mind this morning was like, this is the one that's current now and will likely die out soon, is like the fitness scientists. Because then you go, like, we've gone from Janet trying to flog Herbalife who can't spell science, And then you go the other end now where then you've got like the ultimate fitness scientists, where the good side of those people is like, yeah, they did start to bring in some research based, and, you know, you're starting to take a little bit more of an analytical head in terms of like, you know, what fitness is, but then it's just gone it's gone way past that now, where you've got these people who barely even do fitness, like they just do science. And it's like, mate, fitness is not the most complex thing. It's like you don't, especially for the vast majority, it can be pretty simple. But it's like they've skipped all the basic stuff which does work when done consistently, and they're like really looking at the real small nitty gritty things which just are completely irrelevant.
Go on.
I was going to say it's like Eric Helms, and I like Alan Aragon's got some really good shit because he's very practical with his advice.
Shapless.
But like Shapless, like Brad Schoenfeld is another one where like they come out with like their research, and it's like, oh yeah, we've just new great studies come out where like, you know, training a muscle group 3 times a week can be more beneficial than twice. And it's like, one, you're all natural, like you're all researching how to gain an extra 50 grams of muscle per year, and none of you have got fucking any muscle anyway. But like,
they've been training for like 20 years, and they haven't gained any muscle for 10.
But also, like, in my mind as well, it's like, we've cracked it. Like, we know, like, there are millions of people on the planet that have got fucking massive. We know how to do it. Like, and like, so like more studies showing like, oh, turns out you can eat more protein than 30 grams in a meal. It's like, fucking bodybuilders have been eating 400 grams for like the last 30 decades. So it's like we've kind of cracked the code years ago, and they're basically bringing out research now to like confirm it. But it's like, okay, cool, you confirmed it. Bodybuilders are now 10 years ahead, trying out other shit that have figured out this word, and you're always going to be so far behind that I think like a bit of research to like lean on is okay, like you said, but you're always working in the past with research. If you wait to be purely evidence-based, you're 20 years behind the game.
The observation, just look observe what's happened already. Like push-pull legs is like, I wouldn't say it's new, but it's become more popular in the last 7 years.
Frank Zane was doing it.
They were doing it in the 70s.
It's like scientists are proving what bodybuilders knew ages ago. And like, you know, like these scientists now, they're like, oh, they're arguing like the perfect amount of grams of protein you should eat. It's like, and it's the equivalent of like a bite of chicken breast. Just eat the fucking chicken breast. It's like, oh, this is the perfect rep range. Just like, just lift fucking hard and do a lot of it.
Bob Paris, one of like my favorite bodybuilders. I think he was back in like, I think he was back in the 80s. And if you Google like Bob Paris training routine, it was what he termed like the most optimal training routine: push-pull legs. Like, and it's like bro was doing it in the 80s, and then it's like, and then it went to like the bro split or whatever, and then, you know, in the last 10 years, it's like, oh, push-pull legs is the way to go. It's like fucking Bob is like just laughing over here, being like, yeah, I knew that in the 80s. Like you're 40 years behind. Like it's.
But then you also get then, though, because that's become like the trend is like science-based training or like evidence-based training.
Evidence-based planning and all that.
But then you have like just like numbskull bodybuilders then like trying to regurgitate science. And again, like we've all been to uni to a decent degree. And like trying to understand scientific papers is not the easiest thing, even when you've been in that world consistently for some time. Like I finished my PhD 4 years ago now, and I was looking at a paper the other day, and it was like I was reading Spanish. I was like, what the hell is this? And then you've got these guys who like they left school at 16, and now they've suddenly developed this ability to like to interpret the science out there. And I'm like, mate, you can barely walk straight.
It's a classic. What they do is just read the abstract.
Yeah, they read the abstract of like a study that was done on 3 people, and then make a big general statement off that one study that was done 15 years ago in a lab with 3 people. And it's like, mate, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about. You can't interpret science, so stop talking about the science.
One of the things that annoys me so much is like I would say we're very careful with the statements and just words that we use when we explain things when it comes to nutrition and training.
Careful somewhat.
But like I'll only ever talk about things that I understand, and I won't say like what's the word, like just like nebulous like words, you know. It could be something like, yep, so we're going to start the day with, 50 grams of protein. What that's going to do is going to fire up the metabolism. And it's like, what do you mean by fire up the metabolism? As if it was dormant all night.
I didn't
and
see
you're
that
like,
in the
you're
scientific
starting it with a
papers.
flint rock, being like, cool, we're gonna turn on the ignition now and get it going for the day. Like, what do you mean by fire up?
Yeah.
Like, it's always there.
Yeah.
And so things like that, like, it really fucks me off. Like,
Toxins is another one.
yeah, like, well, like, people, I know people aren't doing it like on purpose, but if you just said we're going to start the day with 50 grams of protein because we have a target for the day, it helps us get ahead of that target. So we're not going to be, playing catch up on the back end of the day. We are going to get some thermic effect of food. If you fast, you can be a little bit cold during the day, but it's like, more than anything, I like a bit of protein in the morning.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's going to keep you more satiated than a
yeah,
croissant.
but
You'd be much better off saying, because I've done that with 50 people and all of them lost 10 pounds. So it's like, okay, I've got some evidence there that shows that it can help. Like, you're much better off saying that than trying to come up with some random explanation that you don't understand yourself.
yeah.
People try and do it, though, for themselves to make themselves look smart. That's what they do.
But it's like you said it in the past, where it's like, if you can, like, an expert is able to take very complex things and break them down very simply, whereas you've got these coaches that are taking very simple concepts and using fancy words to make them sound really complicated. Yeah. And it does my head in. But like those like random statements where there's just no, like, if you like put them on the spot and be like, what do you mean by that? And then you're like, how does that work? Like, talk to me about like the mechanism in your body, and they'll be like, oh, and it's like, because you don't know what you're talking about.
But that's why they're on a social media post that they're filming in their own room, because no one can then question that.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you were standing in front of professors and you threw that statement out, you'd have a hand up straight away and be like, hold on a second. Like, what does that
Like,
mean?
whoa. Go back.
Let's just stop that for
But
a second.
it shows that they haven't done any academic qualifications, because obviously when you do like a dissertation or a Viva or something, you are getting picked apart word by word. And so you have to be able to defend your claims. And whereas obviously on Instagram, it's just bros on bros, where no one really, like, no one's going to go, and if you go, well, actually, you're wrong, they'll be like blocked. Like, you can just ignore it.
Yeah.
Whereas, in the academic world, it's like, if you say, because I mean, I remember I would be presenting on something, I'd say something, and my lecturer would just be like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Can you explain that? Or where did you get that from?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Someone
my
said
ass. Yeah. So so it's like, I think as as a company, and especially in the coaching department, like, even if our coaches slip up and say something like that, I'll be like, what? Just watch when you say those. Like, I know what you mean, but when you say it like this, that does not make sense.
Yeah.
Like, you need to like break down actually why it's working and what it's doing.
Yeah.
Because again, all it takes is one person to be like, what do you mean by that? And then now you look like an idiot.
And then it all falls apart.
Yeah.
Don't say anything unless you don't understand it. And even like when I've been presenting on our coaches calls, like I did the hormone one the other day, and like I've got a decent understanding of hormones, but it's by far not my expertise. And like someone asked a question, and I literally said, this isn't an area that I'm really strong in, so I'm going to just explain how I understand this. And that's fine. Like you can say that. There's no problem with saying that. But what people try and do is, because they want to be seen like an expert in the field, they want to act as if they know everything. But it's like this stuff that, like, even throughout my sort of studies, like that I covered, especially from a nutrition standpoint, but because I haven't revisited that, I'm now like, oh, I can remember roughly how that works, but if I haven't revisited it, it's because it hasn't been relevant. Because I've been doing this job for a long time now, and I have never needed it.
If someone said to me, like, explain Krebs cycle, I go, I can't.
You know how to make a hormone, though, don't you?
God, just end it there. I'm with children.
He loves that one.
It's the class joke, that is.
Yeah, I think, like, if you want to lean on academic stuff, then you have to stay up to date with it, like to stay sharp on that knowledge.
There was a guy I was looking on. There was some bodybuilder preaching the science on Instagram, and he's got a tattoo on his face. And there's no, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with face tattoos. You can have one if you want. But throughout my academics, like when I was looking at the people who wrote the studies, they didn't have face tattoos. Like they normally had glasses and were about 11 stone.
And no hair in the middle of their head. Just a Mr. Burns.
No, they got face tat, like tears here. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So it's don't trust a scientist with a face tat. Like Mike Tyson had a face tat. He's not great at science.
No.
He's pretty hard though.
Yeah.
He give you a smack if you're not careful. Another one that I was thinking about this morning was CrossFit. Now that is a trend. Again, it's got good and it's got bad. And I feel like it's on its way out.
It is, because High Rocks has kind of taken over that
feel,
fitness area now.
It's almost like what High Rocks has done is taken the parts of CrossFit that got it popular in the first place.
Community, like group training,
simple,
some aerobic with some strength stuff mixed in.
It's stuff that like most people can do. Like most people can run. Most people can like push that little sled. Most people can do a wall ball. Whereas like, I don't know, like Olympic lifts, most people can't do that. So they removed that stuff. Like ring work, it's quite hard for a lot of people. So they removed that stuff. So that's now taken shine. Whereas CrossFit itself, it was booming at one stage.
Oh, it's huge.
But now it's definitely not dead yet, but it's definitely on the decline.
I think
it's definitely peaked.
The number of people that signed up to the CrossFit Open this year was an all-time low.
Was it?
over the past few years?
I think like with CrossFit, like it is a lot of good, and whether it was good or bad, it tended to be like the person delivering the sessions. Like if you got like 50-year-old Janet doing like overhead squats or whatever, it's like, like the injury risk is so high. Whereas like if you have basic exercises combined with like what Ben said, community, group exercise, CrossFit can be great.
Yeah.
You know, gets everyone moving.
It was a bit controversial because obviously Greg Glassman was the founder of CrossFit. And he's probably done more to get women into lifting weights.
That's what I was about to say. One of the best things
than anyone else on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, in my head, I don't know much about him. I know that he's just the founder of CrossFit, but like that alone,
was it him who had a bit of a
So this is what I'm getting to.
Oh,
okay. He's done all these great things. Like CrossFit Games, getting the affiliates. Really like amazing business. And then I think when COVID happened, he made a tweet, like it was something to do with COVID and George Floyd. It was like the big controversy. You remember George Floyd?
Yeah. Good topic to cover when you're the face of a business.
Yeah, but like he just put a tweet up, and he got so much backlash for the tweet that they basically forced him to step down from CrossFit as the CEO, and he basically sold it. Like he sold the business. But in my mind, it was kind of like, if someone's done 300 good things and one shit tweet, are they a piece of shit like now? Or did they fuck up that once, but they're net good? And it's such a gray area, because in my head, it's like, yeah, that was a really stupid tweet, but I wouldn't like completely outcast him for that one thing because of all the good that he has done.
That's just the cancel culture, isn't it?
I suppose it does depend on how bad that bad thing is as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a great tweet, but I've definitely seen far worse, and people have got away with far more. But it was a bit of a, again, I don't like, for all I know, he was an asshole, day to day.
I swear more stuff. I think that like opened a bit of a can, probably. And there was some other stuff that popped up. But yeah, that is the way the world works. You can save 100 people's lives, and then you call someone an ass on TV, and they're like, "Oh, what a bad guy!" And you're like, "Fuck me."
Yeah. Or you accidentally, you save 100, but one accidentally dies, and you couldn't do anything about it. It's like murderer. But yeah, like I mean, I would say like CrossFit overall has been a net positive.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Get people in the gym that wouldn't otherwise go in, learn. Not that I'm a huge fan of Olympic lifts, but it got people doing heavy barbell work. It got them doing more variety in the gym. It got people training together, got women in the gym, lifting weights. Like, I think it was a very, very good trend.
Good net positive.
Yeah.
Net positive.
What about, okay, so what were the negatives that came around with CrossFit?
I think it was a very low barrier to entry to be an affiliate. So once you got your CrossFit level 1, you could basically be a CrossFit coach. But then there would be good coaches and then dog shit coaches. Yeah. So like you got the bad coaches doing snatches with blokes that can't even put their arms above their head.
Yeah.
Kipping pull-ups and wrecking shoulders. You know, and
kipping
Yeah.
pull-ups is the one
Yeah.
that is.
And that's what I mean. Like whether CrossFit was good or bad was dictated by the person taking it, because you'd have an inexperienced coach doing like Olympic lifts with someone who couldn't even do like a barbell squat.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Or you
Whereas-
you can't hold your body weight. Do a kipping pull-up.
Yeah. Whereas a lot of the good coaches actually come from like a strength and conditioning background. And so they knew about periodization, programming. They wouldn't plan stupid workouts. There'd be a rhyme and a reason for what they were doing. And I think they were sound. Like I think they're really, really good. I think I guess like another potential downside of it is because it was so heavily focused on like minimal equipment, like kind of thing, like where you had your rig and then it's barbell stuff, then some cardio things. Cables, machines, and things have their place in a training program, and so like I think that's the caveat is you've got some guys that like they've got no business touching a barbell. Whether they've had a bad back, bad knees, bad hips, bad shoulders. It's like you need to go work on some machines first before you even start that stuff.
I know they're on thrusters. It's just like when you're in that position, the last thing you want to be doing is a thruster or an overhead squat.
Yeah. But no, I would still say far more upsides than down.
Just don't do your kipping pull-ups or your handstand push-ups and walking on your hands.
Yeah. But I tell
Have you
you
seen
what,
the handstand push-ups? Because obviously they're doing them in mass,
They're
and the
banging their
spikes on
head.
the head. That's
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
I cannot. Like, I can't think of many worse things to do than repeatedly spike yourself on your head. Like even in MMA, which is one of the most brutal sports, like you can boot someone flat out in the head. You can elbow people in the head. There's not many things you can't do outside of the bollocks, the eyes, and the mouth. You're pretty much good to go. Do whatever you want. One of the rules they do have is don't spike on the head. So you can't pick someone up and spike them on the head. Then you've got Gary down the local CrossFit class, like donk, 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 just repeatedly spiking himself on the head for fitness. I mean, you ain't gonna last long doing that.
that's like that like neck compression is like it makes me like because there was one clip and it's probably taken off the internet now, but it was a bloke that he was doing a barbell snatch, and whatever he did as he caught the bar, his neck went forward and he broke his neck, like freak accident, like, but he broke his neck and he goes stiff and just falls back and he died. Like literally broke his neck and he died. And like, that's not to say snatches are bad, but it's like, if you took a closer look, there were probably lots of signs that like he had poor shoulder mobility, poor hip mobility, shouldn't be doing any overhead work, maybe a previous neck injury. And then he did a snatch and fucked himself up.
He was on the handstand push-up.
Yeah. Or it could have just been a pure freak, like 1 in a billion position that was it. But
Do you know like bodybuilders when they do bench press and they bounce the bar off their chest because they're getting tired? Like CrossFitters do that with handstand push-ups and bounce their head off the thing because they can't lift it. It's like, oh my God.
That's
chaos.
I honestly find it hard to fathom that is like what you legitimately think that's okay to do.
Hey, superset that with a kipping pull-up. You're on for a good session.
Your shoulders and neck.
rotator cuffs gone, neck.
People wake up like, oh, yes, they treated session. Rock hard.
Just a bit sore.
Jeez.
Do we have one more?
Yeah, one. So like, we're in the influencer sort of era now, aren't we?
Are we influencers?
The fitfluencer. I ain't influencing no
definitely
one.
no.
Yeah, don't copy me. Don't copy my life.
don't be like me.
Yeah, don't be like me. Yeah, if anything, I'm like the opposite. So like, don't look at me and try and be me.
Just
look
do
at
the
me like the
opposite.
canary down the mine. And be like, okay, what's he doing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, maybe I won't end up going. No, I think we're in that era now where like, do you know, like the what I eat in a days and this is the thing. There's what the influencer does. They quite often they market themselves like a coach, but they're actually a content creator. So it very much blurs the line. So it's like, because now you're not looking to provide useful information, you're looking to get clicks. And quite often useful information doesn't get you clicks. So it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to lean into the things that does get me clicks. So it's like, again, just like, I can tell you what does get a lot of clicks is a great ass. So it's like now there's like fitness information just over like, with this ass. Sometimes I'm just trying to learn, you know. But again, like the what I eat in a day, and you'll see someone who's like got a great rig, and then they're telling you what they eat, but they think no, that's what you ate on that day. Like it doesn't. There's no context in terms of what phase you're in, how long you've been doing it for, what your current activity levels are. like what type of training you're doing. It's like, this is what I eat and I look like this. And it's like, yeah, but there's no context that at all. And it doesn't tell. So then people just think I have to eat like that. A common one is you'll see a girl who's lean as hell and she's on like, oh, this is what I eat on 2,700 calories a day. And you get these other girls like, oh, well, why am I dieting on like 1,004?
Yeah.
And they're shredded. And it just gives people a really false representation of what it will take. I've coached a lot of women over the years, and I've never, not off the top of my head, had a female drop in body fat on 2,700 calories a day consistently.
No chance.
They're often lying.
Yeah.
And again, they don't eat that stuff all the time. They're just doing it to get clicks.
I think it's just the tripod era in the gym does my head in as well. Yeah. Like, it's just like, again, if people are making money from it and they do it for content and that's how they get clients, then I can understand why, but it doesn't change the fact it still gets on my tits. Like, it's just like, there's just tripods everywhere. And
it's a different era, isn't it?
But then it's, it's like before every set, you've got girls hiking up their pants, like psyching themselves up, and it's a bit like a drama thing, like almost like it's a movie. Yeah. And it's like, you're doing a fucking lunge. Like, just pick them up and fucking go.
Like you said, Taylor, great shoulder session today, and they're showing their arse.
Yeah. Why are you touching your toes? So like that, I think it's gonna die out. Like, I think there will be something else.
I don't think it will be soon though. Okay, because that's what gets clicks. Like, people make money on social media purely because the way they look. It's not because the way they train. It's not because the way they eat. Like, you can have just phenomenal genetics and be sourced up to the gills, but now everyone pays attention. And now everyone pays attention. You can say whatever you want really without any understanding, and people are gonna lap it up. Because then you've got like, Lane Norton's done a decent job at building his brand, but how many of them are out there? The guys
but then also he's built it by calling people out aggressively.
Normally calling the people out who've got the attention. Yeah. Like, he's not calling out people who've got 200 followers. He's calling out the people who've got 2 million.
Well, it was like Alan Aragon shared one of John's ads and was like trying to slate him. And then John messaged him and he was like, oh, sorry, mate. Like, you're actually a really nice guy. And then he made another one on his story, like saying like, yeah, I posted that to get like, to basically piggyback off of him because he's getting all the attention. And like, that's what people do. So Alan, if you're listening, don't fucking do it again.
Yeah, come stick your finger in my chest, Aaron.
Fuck off, Aaron.
Never see who's going.
But yeah, those guys who like post like what they eat in a day, and the women, they'll often be like almost naked whilst they're doing it. Like, I don't need to see your rig to show me what you ate in a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Yeah. Oh, how many clicks do you reckon our meals in a day would get?
Yeah.
If we put our day,
do one of yours of just like, here's what I eat in a day, and you just in your kitchen in your pants, in your fucking pants, holes in, and then it's just 2 packs of fucking ham and some berries, and be like, who is this guy? And then what's really funny is that you're a really good coach, and then be like, who is this guy trying to be an influencer?
He actually knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I might try and see how many likes I get.
Oh my god, you probably get quite a lot because people will think that it's just a parody. But
that era, it is. I don't see it dying out very quick. I saw one guy the other day, and he's got a boatload of followers, and he's doing a lap pull down, and he's filming himself. And some guy comes up to him and asks, "How many sets you got left?" He went, "Oh no, I'm filming, so I'll be like 20 minutes." And I'd be like, "I ain't gonna wrap that bar around your head. You speak to me like that again." Like, no. Like now it's like, because I do get it. People. No, they're making a living from it, and filming is a big part of it now. And if it motivates people to exercise, then crack on. It don't really bother me too much. But then you also have to be mindful that not everyone wants to be filmed.
Well, and it's you're not hiring out that piece of equipment.
No, it's like you can use it like because if someone does 3 sets on there, 4 sets, and then what, they're going to be 5 minutes, and they're gone. But you can't be like, oh no, I'm filming on this, so you have to just not use it. Or
I would be like, right,
wait.
we'll wrap up your shit and come back at 6 a.m. when it's fucking quiet then. Yeah. But Jess was saying the other day she wanted to use the Smith machine, and she said she timed it, and there was a girl that was on the Smith machine for an hour, like a whole hour, and in that hour maybe 8 to 10 sets of like some split squats and some squats, and it's like there's other people in the gym that want to use that bit of equipment.
But I think people now, we're getting to the age, which makes you sound old as shit, but we're getting to the age where that was their introduction into the gym. Like, since they've been training has been the tripod era, has been the filming era. So like they didn't know what it was like beforehand, where I remember like being on like treadmills, and it was like max time 20 minutes.
Yeah,
like once
yeah.
you've done 20 minutes on this, you've got to get off because
Yeah.
someone else is like going to want to use it. Now you'll see people on like a preacher curl for 25 minutes because they're filming sets.
But then
and trying to get
the other
content
annoying
done.
thing is they don't let you jump in, because it used to be
Yeah.
like, oh, jump in, like meet someone new, like
Yeah.
talk about training, like that's how you made friends in the gym, is like work in with us.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, oh, can I work in? No.
Yeah.
Like literally the amount of times I've seen Jess ask if she can work in, and they're like, no, I've got 5 more sets. She's like, yeah. Do you understand what working in means? Like, and then people are just reluctant to do it. It's sad.
Reality is, no one gives a shit what you eat or what you train anyway.
No,
know?
they just care about the ass.
Yeah.
That's what we care about.
So in summary, guys, if you want to get clicks, Brett Contreras it up. Get the ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean they're probably some of the most common fitness trends that we've seen that have come and go, and I guarantee they'll do a resurgence. I'm sure keto is going to make a comeback. Maybe CrossFit will, or it'll be something else.
Yeah, if you put it in coffee in your hair again.
Yeah.
But
But
there'll be all sorts of stuff going on.
yeah, and we'll still be here practicing the basics.
Doing the real stuff.
Because the real ones never die. The real ones never die. But the trends, and again, like with fitness, like strength training, cardio work, like a well balanced diet, that stuff has stayed consistently throughout the whole lot. Whereas the trends will just come and then they go and then they come and then they go.
Well, I said the results is in the work you're currently avoiding. Us real ones, you will still be doing the real work.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here.
But well, thank you as always, guys, for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes, and we'll see you next time.
If you love this show, please like, share, and leave us a 5-star review so that we can help more people. I'm John Madsen, Superhuman CEO, reminding you to always go get what's yours.